Well, today's Colorado trivia is, when is the next projected date that our state will witness a total solar eclipse? The answer? Don't hold your breath, people. August 12, 2045. The total solar eclipse at that time will cover 13 states, including, thank goodness, Colorado. We'll get a chance to see it. Well, this year's total solar eclipse will first be seen in Oregon at around 10:19 Pacific time. This coming Monday, as you can see from the map, only certain parts of the U.S. will enjoy a total solar eclipse. If you're not in those areas, then what? Back with us this morning to sort through things you need to know, Dave Allison with Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Thanks, Dave, for coming on today. I know you're very, very busy.
Of course, glad to be here.
So, obvious, the first question people are asking, what's the big deal? Why is everybody so excited about this eclipse?
Well, it happens so rarely in the way that it is for this particular eclipse, where it's actually going to be across the entirety of the United States. And most people will be able to drive very easily to at least experience part of it, which I think is just really spectacular.
The last one was in 1979. I remember I was in elementary school. It was really pretty cool. But how long will this one last in certain places?
Sure. So the kind of eclipse activity will start at about 10:30 or so around where we are, and then the point where it'll be at its greatest will be at about 11:45, 11:46, 11:47, somewhere in there, and then it'll kind of be all over by about 1:15. Okay. So it's not a super long amount of time. The amount of time that the moon will be passing over the sun here in Denver is about 2.5 minutes.
You mentioned earlier path of totality. What is that?
So the path of totality is a 67-mile wide swath that'll cut from Oregon all the way down to South Carolina and then kind of head out to sea. And that's where the moon entirely covers the sun, and all that can be seen is the corona. Here in Denver, what we talk about it as about a 92% totality, which means that it'll be most of the sun will be covered, but not all of it.
Well, in simple terms, break this down for me. Sure. Why does the total solar eclipse, why does it shift? Why doesn't it just stay the same path when it happens?
Sure. It has to do with how our rotations around the sun work. They're not exactly even. They're not perfectly spherical, and so as the Earth orbits around the sun, the moon and its relation to the Earth vary and differ, and so that results then in kind of an uneven number of years when this ends up happening.
Oh, okay. And I know we're going to kind of show people what the solar eclipse and how it works here.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you know, Denise, I'm going to need you to be the sun, and
I'm
so
the sun.
here you are.
Okay.
With your nice little headlamp flashlight. You've got that on, and of course here we have the moon is this small little piece right here. The reason that the eclipse kind of works as it does is that the sun, are 400 times larger than the Earth. However, the moon is 400 times closer to the Earth than the sun. And so that means that the moon, even though it's so much smaller, is going to be able to block out the sun, and it will appear as if the sun has gone away, which is what the eclipse is. So what happens during the eclipse is that the Earth here is going to be rotating around you as the sun and casting a shadow from the moon onto the Earth along that path of totality that I spoke of earlier. So that is kind of how that works when it rotates around the sun.
We've dimmed the lights so you can get a better idea of it too, and how it works.
Yeah, so this is the kind of rotation that we're talking about of the Earth going around the sun. Of course, the Earth is also spinning, is rotating as well. And so that's how the totality goes across the Earth in that really amazing way.
You know what I love about this demonstration? To my husband, if you're watching, when you say everything doesn't revolve around you, right now it does.
That's exactly right.
Right now it does.
Exactly.
Really smart guy just proved it too. How long is Colorado's solar eclipse? How long will we be able to see it right here?
Yeah, so really the activity will start around 10:30 in the morning. By about 11:45, that's when it's really going to get exciting. And what happens is this beautiful kind of twilight feel around 11:45. It'll feel kind of crepuscular, as you might say, where it has this dim sense to its silvery light. And then it'll last about 2.5 minutes. And then the moon will kind of move off, and you'll see that. So.
I know we have to have glasses, but what will we see during that time? Could we see other planets? It's going to be dark, and there's not going to be a lot of lights on like normally?
You know, in the path of totality in particular, some of those brighter planets, Venus, for example, is one that you may be able to see. Even here in Denver, Venus is usually one of the brighter kind of objects in the celestial bodies out there, and so that's certainly something that you'll be able to see. It really will be a magical experience.
As a scientist, what are you going to learn from this solar eclipse?
Well, some of the things that are most fascinating to learn about eclipses during an eclipse is really the corona, the atmosphere that's around the sun. We don't usually get to see that, but when the moon blocks out the sun, that's when you can really see the outer rim around and what's happening there with the solar flares. I'm sure you've heard of solar flares, those kind of things. And so the corona is really going to be a fascinating thing to study. But then also here on Earth, how do animals react to the solar eclipse? What's happening here on Earth with the temperature and how's the atmosphere changing? And that's just a really fun thing to study as well.
Is it true, like we have to watch out for snakes?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think you know, animals certainly might be confused as to what's happening. You know, oh, night's coming on. I need to start doing my nighttime routines. Those kind of things.
I don't know. Somebody may have been playing a trick on me, but they're like, rattlesnakes are going to be out everywhere.
Yeah. I don't think you need to worry about snakes, especially if you stay away from snake holes.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll be all right. So don't worry about it.
I feel a really smart guy had to tell me that. Finally, what is the museum doing during the total eclipse?
Yeah, we have all sorts of great activities the day of the eclipse. If you visit DMNS.org, you can see a full list of those things, but some of the things are an eclipsercise. So we'll be using our bodies to recreate different heavenly kind of bodies as they move through the solar system and how orbits work, those kind of things. So that's one of the fun things we'll be doing. We also have these great temporary tattoos. You can't really see it very well, but that show the kind of eclipse and how that happens. And then we have our pinhole cameras where you can project the image of the eclipse down onto a piece of cardboard. And so we'll be doing that, kind of a craft project for kids. It'll be really fun.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, educating us, and giving me a little sneak peek of what's to expect.
Of course,
I appreciate it. All right, the solar eclipse in Denver, again, it will begin at 10:23 a.m. Peak time is 11:47, and then finish at 1:14 p.m. It's this Monday, August 21st. Denver Museum of Nature and Science is hosting a really big bash. It starts at 9 a.m. You can view the full list of activities online. Go to DMNS.org. The solar eclipse events are free with general admission.